My name is Max. I am extremely grateful to have been a member of the 2016 Spring Microcampus group, called Oreo. Microcampus is a month-long journey into a small village in Yunnan province called Xizhou. There, we are immersed in rural China and get out of the urban bubble of Shanghai city life. While at Microcampus, one studies a topic of their personal interest, called an inquiry project. For my inquiry project, I picked bi-minority music to study. While studying this topic in Xizhou, I have learned lots about Bai music, met many great people, and have learned a lot about myself. Throughout the duration of the trip, I spoke with many people in the village and with local musicians. I was able to acquire lots of information about Bai music. The oldest, most traditional style of Bai music is called Dongjing music, which had lots of religious influence throughout its long history, and many styles that emerged from it. The official recorded origin of Dongjing music is in Sichuan in the Tang Dynasty. However, Dongjing music was said to have existed before this time and to have deeper roots in the oldest Chinese religion of Taoism. Dongjing music emerged from the chanting of the Taoist sacred scriptures and got its name from the Shandong mountain, which was used to store the Taoist sacred books. In the Tang Dynasty, Dongjing music was played only for the emperor and the royal family to celebrate major accomplishments. It then spread to the common people, who took this music and made it a folk custom, creating the other styles of Bai music there are today. Dongjing music was able to spread from Sichuan to other places such as Dali and Lijiang as a part of the spread of Buddhism and its traditions. Buddhism gained more popularity in the Tang Dynasty and in the many years after. Dongjing music became associated with Buddhist practices and spread together to other parts of China as a two-piece package. By the Ming and Qing dynasties, Dongjing music had reached the height of its development. However, the Cultural Revolution landed a crushing blow to Dongjing music. During the 10 years of the Cultural Revolution, many records of Dongjing music were lost and destroyed. It was considered to be bad and a liability for China to recreate and move forward at the time. However, some people really loved Dongjing music, so much that they were able to hide the records and sheet music in their homes. This was very dangerous. If they were caught, they could be tortured, or in worst cases, killed. After the Cultural Revolution, Dongjing music was able to slowly recover. Many efforts were put in to rewrite sheet music and preserve the traditional style of music. As previously mentioned, other styles such as Dabanqu and Bai folk emerged from adaptations of royal Dongjing music. In local Dabanqu, people play an instrument and sing at the same time. Within the lines and melody, it is meant to talk about one theme or tell a story. This was a style that I could relate to with my own music, since most Western songs are structured similarly. I was then able to realize that all music, in one form or another, is quite similar in that they try to convey a message, tell a story, and is meant to be fun. People I met. During my stay at the Linden Center in the village of Xizhou, I have been very fortunate to have met so many great people and made so many friends. While I researched about my inquiry project and went out in the village to speak with people, I had much help from Mr. Jake, Miss Joe, Miss Zoe, and Miss Rebecca. For example, they would accompany me when I visited a local contact and help me translate parts of Chinese that I could not understand. I continued to interact with each of them and ended up growing closer with them every single day. We would say hello to each other whenever we met, and occasionally sparked small conversations with one another. I formed extra close relationships with Mr. Jake and Miss Joe, since they were the people I spent most of my time with. Other than greeting each other and having their help during teacher support, I really had the chance to talk to them about daily life, about their interests, and about Xizhou. I am so grateful for these many people that I've met, as they have made me feel so welcomed into the Linden Center community and were always very kind and supportive of me. I also had a very special opportunity to interact with some of the locals through music. I had my best visit with Mr. Yang, a kind older gentleman who generously provided me with lots of information and played together with me. I always had a second goal in mind, not just to gain information by speaking with people, but to share my music and play music together with a musician in Xizhou. Mr. Yang and I shared our music with each other and eventually began playing songs together. As I sang and played the chords to Mrs. Robinson by Simon and Garfunkel, he would put in little fills and fun licks between the spaces of the lyrics. I tried to strum some of the chords to Mr. Yang's song as he played and plucked notes quickly on his sanxian. We were able to make each other so happy and have lots of fun. Even though we could barely hold a conversation together and had never met before, I am glad that Mr. Yang and I were able to share a common ground of music. I was so lucky to share a musical connection with him that divided through our different nationalities and cultures. In the end, I really felt as if music was a type of universal language. It brings people together and allows them to communicate in a very special way. Even though music is not a profession for people in Xizhou, it is still a part of them and makes them who they are. My music is the same for me. It's a part of me and makes me who I am. I think a great part of using music to connect and communicate also allows one to express a part of who they really are. When Mr. Young and I played for each other, he shared with me a part of who he was, and I did the same with him. Finally, in researching about my inquiry project and spending time in Shizhou, I learned a lot about myself. I realized that I get very stressed and panic occasionally when my work starts to pile up or when I feel overwhelmed. I had plenty of times during this trip when I had lots to do, and the thought of the whole pile of work weighing me down like a backpack full of rocks. I realized that things wouldn't get done unless I kept going and kept a positive attitude. I found that I also have to keep calm during these situations. I really put my scheduling skills into practice at Microcampus. I learned to make a daily plan for myself, keep track of that plan, and check off tasks from my list one by one. Being relaxed and calm isn't just a lesson to remember while working, it is also important to be this way while interacting with people. My attitude and how I come across reflects upon other people, and how they will treat me in response. My visits with some of the locals at first felt quite stiff and were occasionally quite awkward. I had to learn to relax and be confident in the Chinese that I had to communicate with them. In turn, they would feel more relaxed and be more open to share information with me. To sum up, Microcampus has been an amazing experience. I never would have had the opportunity to bond so closely with people, learn as much as I did during this trip, or experience rural China in the same way. I have done so much throughout the duration of this trip. I have learned about buying music, made connections with many great people, and have learned a lot about myself. I found that the whole purpose of studying a topic of personal interest is not in fact to just gain facts. It is so that we could connect with the village and its people. This is something that I felt I did very well during my time in Xizhou. More importantly, I was able to understand music as a living force better. Music is in everyone and has a similar purpose to convey a message, tell a story, to set a mood, but most importantly, it is meant to be fun. It is a type of universal language that extends beyond cultural ties, national ties, religious ties, or anything else. You just have to be willing to find the music within yourself.